Hello, my name is Kay, and for this video I'm going to be teaching you how to properly plant a seed. Now before we go on, let me make this clear. Some of the instructions in this video may not apply to you depending on where you live and what plants you choose to use. So for your information, I'm living in Bangkok, Thailand, and the instructions would be most accurate if you A. live near the equator, B. you get plenty of rain, and C. get plenty of sunlight. The first step would be to do research on whichever plant you choose. Now I have chosen to plant the tomato and the sunflower. This step is to make sure that you don't pass over any specifics that your plants may require to grow. So sunflowers require a place sheltered from strong winds. Tomatoes require damp soil but not too wet, and they both require hot weather. The next step is to take the seeds and pour them into a glass of water. Room temperature is fine. Leave them there overnight. This will allow the seeds to absorb water. Now where you choose to plant the seeds can also be very important. I have chosen to plant in these small pots. Now an important factor of where you choose to plant is the drainage. Drainage is how much water soil allows to pass through. Good drainage makes it so that water doesn't clog up and drown your plant. Now for example, the pots I have chosen have a hole underneath which allow the water to drain away. Notice as I pour the water in, you can see the water draining away from underneath. And you also notice that none of the water is clogged up on top. You can usually tell the quality of the soil by its color. The dark color here usually means that there's good nutrients and a lot of organic matter for the plant. Now red-brown soil would mean that there's good drainage and a lot of air in the soil. Blue and green soil would usually mean that there's water clogged up, causing all that algae to grow and steal all the nutrients. Red soil would usually mean there's bad drainage, so water also gets clogged up. And mottled streaking kind of color, meaning there's line patterns on soil, usually mean there's periodic damage, which means that drainage of the soil changes from season to season. The soil we have here is full of good nutrients along with a goodly amount of cow feces for its fertilizer. Now before we get to planting the seeds, we should make sure that there are no weeds around here to compete with our plants. There's one. Now we can get to planting the seeds. The pots are separated this way so that to make sure that there aren't too many seeds in one pot. This is so that the seeds don't outcompete each other and die. Now the goal would be to get 3 seeds in each pot, but as you can see there are too many for that, so we'll have to make do. Now as you plant the seeds, try to make sure that they're around 1 centimeter deep in the soil. Any deeper than that and they may not be able to get out again. Alright, first row of tomato seeds are done. Now just continue with the sunflowers for the second row. Now it's also very important to know how your plant grows. For example, the sunflower grows straight up so they're easier to grow, but tomatoes grow like vines, they can crawl over the ground. So by the time they grow 2 inches above the soil, you should be finding something like a middle pole for them to crawl and grow off so that they grow up straight. Now I advise you to water your plants moderately, about twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. Now, if it's the rainy season, you don't have to water them, but you also have to keep them out of the rain or else they get too soaked, and keep them off the ground or else the snails will come and eat them. Now seeds aren't the only ways to grow your plants. There are some plants that can be grown through cutting the branches off and then planting them somewhere else. Observe. Plants like this one. Now I would advise that the branch you cut off is about 1.5 feet long, so as to make sure that they actually grow. And once you plant them in, make sure you plant them deep and make sure you water them regularly. Now there are some plants that can sprout new ones from beneath its roots. As you can see here, this is the original plant that we planted before, and you can see new plants sprouting from it until we reach the newest ones. This is because this kind of plant can grow other plants from its own roots. Now the fourth and final way to grow a plant is very similar to the second way, in that you can cut out a branch and then plant it. Except for this way, you first have to find a section of a branch, scrape off the outer layers to the inner core, wrap it with mud, hay, and plastic, and then wait until the roots grow. Once those roots have grown, cut out the branch and then stick it in the ground. By the way, the term green thumb, not an accurate description. Ugh.